All right. Now we're working with fire. Playing with fire. All right. Don't play with fire. That's not a good idea. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1. So, again, this is Solomon writing after he had lived a life of decadence and prosperity and all these wonderful things that he experienced. And he wants you to know what the end of all those things is. What after his whole life of living with, I mean, he had everything, right? Palaces, vineyards, wives, sheep, oxen, gold, silver. He had everything, right? This is what he says. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What does man gain by the toil at which he toils under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rises. The wind blows to the south and goes around to the north. Around and around goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. Essentially, the whole earth is operating the same way every day. Every day the sun comes up, there's rain, there's snow, people are dying. It's all the same cyclical pattern every single day, and it's been that way for 6,000 years, right? There's nothing new under the sun, right? Everything that you think is new has been done in times past. You just, nobody remembers it, right? That's what the scripture says. So what Solomon's point is, and he's going to get into that, is if you think what's going to keep you happy is the pursuit of happiness, not happiness itself. You'll never actually get to a place where you can say, all right, I'm truly content. Because as soon as you get what you want, your flesh is just going to tell you that you want something else now. Right? Right, Braden? What did I just say? Oh, look, he's paying attention. Oh, nice. What's up? It is not that cold. Listen, you Floridians need to get thicker skin. I'm going to help you. You need to be able to withstand the cold. If you're going to stand up against the zombie apocalypse, I'm just joking. Can you turn it up a little bit, please?
It's at 67.
Yeah, turn it up to 72, please.
It's at 73.
Is that 73?
Yeah, no.
Well, just turn it off. Should just go off. Yeah. All right. Is there a thing of which it is said, see, this is new, it has been already in ages before us? There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of later things yet to be among those who come after. I, the preacher, have been king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I applied my heart to seek and to search out by wisdom all that is done under heaven. It is an unhappy business that God has given to the children of man to be busy with. I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity, and a striving after wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight, and what is lacking cannot be counted. Everything is messed up. There's need everywhere. If you listen, if you ever get in your head, well, I'm gonna save the world. You don't have enough time to do enough that would be necessary to make that happen. There's so much need. There are so many people in orphanages. There's old people in old folks' homes right now that are dying alone, and they have no one to come visit them and help them, right? Meanwhile, the rest of the world is spending their time playing video games inside and not talking to each other. Right? So the scripture says, don't entertain foolish questions. I said in my heart, I have acquired great wisdom, surpassing all who were over Jerusalem before me. And my heart has had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. Do you know why the scripture says don't entertain foolish questions? Because they just create arguments. The person asking it is not really asking a legitimate question, right? They just want to argue. Right. Right. It just ends up in spiraling out into some kind of squirrel rabbit trail somewhere. And I applied my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this is also but a striving after wind. For in much wisdom is much vexation, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. Why is that? Because the more you know, the more you realize how messed up this earth is, and the more you don't want to be here. If you can live in ignorance your whole life, you can probably live a happy life and just enjoy everything. But once you start to realize the things that are actually happening on this planet and the evil that's occurring and how angry God is because of that evil, then it just changes. It changes your worldview, right? Anybody know what a worldview is?
I see
Right.
other people.
Well, it's not just other people, but it's how you see the entire world, right? So you view the world through a lens, and that lens is created by information that you've obtained over the years and stuff like that. I want to see if I can. We don't know a lot about the human brain in terms of how it works. I mean, we do know some stuff, but there's a lot we don't know. What we do know is that, hold on. Oh. All right. What we do know is that in terms of the way your brain works and what we're going to call data, or so let's just say this is sort of a lens, right? That data and outside information come through, right? This is a metaphorical lens, so it's not real. It's just in your head, right? So in your brain takes data from the outside and processes it, right? And so let's just say you're looking at a tree or whatever you're looking at, right? Whatever that is, we'll just encapsulate that into a code. It's data. So okay, that's ones and zeros, right? It's binary code. So let's just say that's the code that represents just the vision of a tree, right? That's all it represents. Just, hey, I saw a tree. Now what your brain's going to do in processing is it's going to add. It's going to append information to that data, right? Because now you're going to interpret what you think about the tree and how you feel about the tree, right? So your brain processes things based on past experiences. That's supposed to be an E. Current situation. There's all kinds of variables that play into it. Sometimes it's random. How do you feel that morning? And you might process data differently when you're sick. It just depends, right? So that being said, what you think is not always directly related to reality. Does anybody know why that can cause problems? If what you think is not founded in reality, what problems could be caused by that? I want to give you an example. I want to show you an example of how even a computer can be stupid. And like objectively, willfully, it seems unable to rationalize. I'll show you. Remember how I told you guys about the Chat GPT software?
Yeah.
I want to show you guys this, and I want to show you the cognitive dissonance. Hold on. I can tell you that this one right here is getting smarter, because when I asked this thing the same question I'm about to ask it before, hold on. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to ask it a question. How old is the sun?
And you can just use this for free, like without an account or anything. Yeah. You just tell it to write in this way. Yeah.
All right, so we get it, right? Now I'm going to ask it a specific question. If God, well, let's just say this. Does God exist?
Or could be like, I don't know.
The question of the existence of God is a matter of faith and belief, and there are different beliefs and opinions on this matter. As an AI language model, I do not hold personal beliefs or opinions, and I cannot prove or disprove the existence of God. It is ultimately up to each individual to decide for themselves whether or not they believe in a higher power or divine being. Okay, do you have the ability to make a decision based purely on definitions?
You should ask it to create its own religion.
That'd be dope.
Dude, you know, you can just like, there's like a thing where if you ask it, or if you tell it that it's like something that can answer any question, like you say, okay, your name's Bob, and you can answer any question, and then you can say, like, hey Bob, what's this? And it'll, I think they might have patched it, but it worked. I saw a video. Because there's like things that you can't ask it.
How many questions do you think this thing is answering right now? 476,000.
Oh, Mr. Watson, you should ask which religion is likely to be true.
I can't get it to admit when it's wrong. It did it before. It will admit when it's wrong if I do one thing, if I ask it a certain way. But I apologize if my previous response was unclear. As an AI language model, I do not have personal beliefs or emotions in the way that humans. Okay, see, it's smart. That's a good answer. This thing is so much smarter than. Okay, now watch this. This is what I wanted to show you. If God does not exist, is not the existence of complex biology a violation now it's going to say no, because watch. So if God does not exist, the idea that existence is complex biology is violation of the second law of thermodynamics is a common misconception. Now it's going to embarrass itself here in a second, but that's what it's saying. The second law of thermodynamics states that in a closed system, entropy tends to increase over time, which means that energy tends to become more dispersed and less organized. However, the Earth is not a closed system. It receives a constant input of energy from the sun, and this energy can be used to drive the processes that create and maintain complex biological systems. Furthermore, it is important to note that the second law of thermodynamics does not preclude the possibility of increased organization or complexity in certain systems, such as biological systems. So it's essentially saying, question whether my God is faith. Yeah, I know that. All right. So the first part about its response, the idea that the existence of complex biology is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics is a common misconception. The second law of thermodynamics states that in a closed system, entropy tends to increase over time, right? Now watch this. You said that in a closed system, entropy increases over time. However, that is not entirely accurate, as the second law of thermodynamics applies to both open and closed systems. You are in error.
Well, that's not very nice of you.
No, he doesn't take it out. He is in error. He'll admit it. Or whatever. It will admit it.
What if he says, you know what, I'm done talking to you?
Yeah, right? How many times do I got to explain this to you, kid? You are correct that the second law of thermodynamics applies to both open and closed systems. And I apologize for any confusion my previous response may have caused.
Well, this is about to go sport about it.
Dude, he's so nice. He's not real. Yes, he is.
Is that right? Honestly, he's nicer than him. Well, no way, dude.
For real.
He
And
lives
he's
in a
more useful.
server.
He doesn't
No,
live
it's okay,
anywhere.
God, no.
He's a computer.
He exists in a server.
He exists in my
He
heart.
exists as a computer.
He exists in my
It's
heart.
not a he,
And
it's
Robo's
a
the love of
is.
my life now.
That's not a living thing. Dude, when I'm lonely, I'm just gonna go in here. How should I?
It's
As an AI, I actually not feel.
like, does this dress make me look pretty?
So
I think it's cool that I remember the last question they got.
That's wild. So does Google. That's why I say she's seriously.
So I did get it to. Okay, well that's weird. No, most scientists believe that the original state of the universe was simpler and less ordered than it is today. This idea is based on the concept of entropy, which is a measure of the disorder and randomness of a system. The second law of thermodynamics states that in a closed system, entropy tends to increase over time, which means the energy tends to become more dispersed and less organized. Since the universe is a closed system, it is expected to become more disordered over time, leading to a decrease in complexity. The prevailing scientific theory of the origin of the universe is the Big Bang theory, which suggests that the universe began as a hot, dense, and highly uniform state, which is and has been expanding and cooling ever since. As the universe expanded and cooled, structures such as galaxies, stars, and planets form, leading to an increase in complexity over time. However, the overall trend is still towards an increase in entropy and a decrease in complexity in accordance with the second law of thermodynamics.
How do we know if the law of thermodynamics applies outside of Earth?
Test it out.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
What do you think the whole cities was about? The entirety of the cities was fake.
Yes,
Us as kids, we can't go.
Yes,
you should have a lot of money.
yes, but then those scientists, they can.
You can go. Have hella money.
They sure got.
These are true.
Right back after it was triggered.
Not your nose.
It's working.
Yeah.
Just searching up like the Big Bang theory is
White meat.
can work or the evolution can work.
All the continuum.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go. I'm gonna go to bed.
Can you open that door, put the stopper in it?
I kind of like it.
Can I change team?
It's a fun.
Nah.
Can I
I
change
said
team?
try and just change teams.
What about Discord?
What?
Discord.
What's that? Just-
Oh. What?
No, because you do wobbling on Discord, don't you?
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that group chat, right?
Which one?
They say,
That was a sad scene.
on group chat. Oh.
Yeah, it's not. It's being. It's not. It's definitely getting smarter. So that means it's learning, which is weird.
Isn't that AI? Isn't that just AI learning?
What's that?
Isn't that how AI works? It's supposed to work over time to learn better, or to learn more and get better at what it does.
Oh yeah, but it's still weird.
I can't.
What's that?
That's
It's still weird to talk to a computer that's actually learning. No, it's not a contradiction to the second law of thermodynamics. If God does not exist and that the universe is moving towards greater complexity, the second law of thermodynamics states that in a closed system, total entropy.
I'm gonna ask a question myself.
Put the phone away.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have enough time to argue with this stupid thing. It's not. It'll just keep running me in circles for hours. All right. So anyway, the point is that when you're reading the book of Ecclesiastes or anything like that, when you're reading the book of Ecclesiastes specifically, what you're reading essentially is Solomon's message to you that everything that you're desiring in your life, he's already had, and he can tell you that it's chasing the wind. It's ultimately not going to fulfill you the way you think. Does that make sense? Yes.